Station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
I hear that. Boom! I know what it was right away.
Developing now at 9, a deadly crash in Prince George's County. We are live at the scene.
Hey everyone, we made it to your Friday and heading into the weekend. We have lovely weather across the DMV. We'll check out that forecast coming up.
A surge of excitement continuing this weekend for Commanders fans.
A visionary leader with a sterling track record of building winning franchises.
Yeah, the excitement around the future of the team and the potential community impact the new ownership could bring.
And excitement building for the Women's World Cup is underway. We are live in Navy Yard, where a watch party is happening now. Good Friday evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight for DC News Now at 9. I'm Tasmin Mahfouz.
And I'm Mark Hall, filling in for Chris Flanagan, developing tonight a new era for the Commanders. Earlier today, there was a giant pep rally at FedEx Field to celebrate the new era of ownership. Our Alex Flum was there and caught up with new majority owner Josh Harris.
Hope has returned to the DMV in a form of a new football owner, and you could feel it on Friday at FedEx Field when Josh Harris and his ownership group were officially introduced.
It is my pleasure to formally introduce the new owner of the team and managing partner of the Commanders, Josh Harris.
For Josh Harris, who's from Chevy Chase, Maryland, it's a dream come true.
One of my first memories was walking down East Capitol Street with the rest of the fans, going into RFK Stadium, hearing the crowd, feeling the rumbling of the stadium, and it really had an indelible mark on me as a human being. This franchise is a part of who I am and who I became. Our work begins today, and I'm so excited to be on this journey together with the city.
Along with Harris, ownership partner Mitchell Rails also grew up here, while Magic Johnson is another big name in the group.
Josh and I talked. First thing I said was, "Do you want to win?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "I'm in."
When I tell you we share the same values and vision about what we want this organization to be, and the opportunity in the days, months, weeks, years ahead, it's unprecedented.
Now that they've gotten through all these introductory celebrations, it's time for the Josh Harris ownership group to get to work. There's a season that's about to happen, and they have a franchise that they are hoping to turn around, along with a fan base to win back. You know, we'll be covering it all as it unfolds. For now, reporting here in Landover, Maryland at FedEx Field, Alex Flum, DC News Now.
And as the Commanders enter a new era, billionaire Josh Harris is at the helm of that new ownership group.
Yeah, he's a Chevy Chase, Maryland native whose fans hope will have a big impact here in the region. Our Daniel Hamburg joins us with more about who Josh Harris is.
Yeah, and Daniel, he has a history of giving back to the communities that he's a part of.
Tasmin and Mark, his net worth is $6.6 billion, but he has a strong track record of philanthropy, helping nonprofits where he owns teams both in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. DC is welcoming new Commanders owner Josh Harris with open arms, and Harris himself is happy to be back in the area.
As a kid who grew up in Chevy Chase, Maryland, I've been a fan of this team for as long as I can remember.
The football is of course important, but the billionaire has given back a lot with his wife Marjorie through Harris Philanthropies, which the couple founded in 2014. As the managing partner of the Philadelphia 76ers and New Jersey Devils, millions of dollars have been spent in those communities to help nonprofits and youth programs. Now that he owns the Commanders, could we see some of that philanthropic impact in the D.C. area?
I feel a tremendous sense of responsibility to this city to win championships, to create a positive impact on the community, and create great experiences and memories.
As owner of the 76ers, Harris cut ticket prices in his first year, and attendance rose 15%. It's still too early to say what specific changes Harris will make for the Commanders, but what he has made clear, the fan experience is one of his top priorities.
We got to get the team ready to win football games. We got to get out in the community and start to pay it forward.
And Harris isn't the only one with local ties. Others in his ownership group include Mitchell Rails, who lives in Maryland, and Magic Johnson, who has businesses headquartered here. They both have all pledged to be very involved in the community. In the studio, Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
All right, it's time to start the fun this weekend. Let's check in with our chief meteorologist, Jessa Webb.
Yeah, Janessa, I'm already looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, you got to get excited. We have turned this corner over that bad weather that we dealt with earlier this morning with strong to severe storms. The cold front is sitting out towards the west, and things have really quieted down. So we are excited about that. Let's take a live look at what's happening in our beautiful city of DC metro area. And I have not forgot about you, Montgomery County, Prince George, Loudoun as well. Pretty much across the board, everywhere, we are dealing with a good amount of clearing that is taking place. We do have winds. They are now coming out of the north and west, and that's a good sign for some cooler air. With that front, the wind flow is kind of following that situation instead of coming out of the south, pumping in the warmer air from central Virginia or North Carolina. So satellite composite radar is super uneventful, some high cirrus clouds. Really the talker over the weekend is all the sunshine we are about to see and still the warm temperatures. I mean, we're talking about upper 80s for daytime highs and a few 90-degree readings as we go into Sunday. Right now, it's very cool from Culpeper into Lexington Park. Good evening, Charles County. You're into the upper 70s. So car wash forecast both days. They look fantastic. If I have to choose today, it's going to be tomorrow afternoon to get that done. What to expect after the weekend? I have to prepare you for a little bit of rain on Monday. That forecast coming up.
Janessa, thank you. The wreck happened in the Springdale area, and sources tell us that the teens were on their way to summer school when the driver lost control of the wheel. Yamarie Sase joins us live at the scene for us.
Yeah, and Yamarie, we're talking about an accident that happened this morning. Now, you spoke to neighbors there. We also have video of the moments right before that accident. Just tragic.
Yeah, that's right. Both of these teenagers were driving down on Ardwick Armour Road, heading to Charles Herbert Flowers High School, which is just down the street. And take a look. You can even see the skid marks of the vehicle right before the moment this took place, and that's when they crashed into this pole in front of this home. Now, neighbors heard the noise and quickly ran out and tried to help, but a lot of them are heartbroken about what they had to see. Frightening video from Friday morning shows the moment a car slides out of control on Ardwick Armour Road in Springdale.
And I heard that boom, I know what it was right away.
That's when Melvin Evans came outside. A car crashed into a pole right in front of his home. Neighbors quickly rushed to help.
They pulled one person out and put him over there, and he was checking his pulse on the other one. He couldn't get no pulse on him. And then about that time, the police came.
The victims, two teenagers on their way to summer school at Charles Herbert Flowers High School, just a few feet away. One of the teens passed away. The other is expected to survive.
Really emotional, because I don't want to see nobody, nobody get hurt or get killed. Or even young kids or anybody. I don't want to see them get themselves hurt.
Evans has lived here for nearly 40 years. He says speeding is a problem, and he's witnessed several crashes.
I would just like to see more safety rules and regulation up here. The signs up here saying slow down, be safe. That's what I would like to see.
And he's keeping the family of both teens in his prayers.
That the Lord would just put his arms around them and dry the tears from their eyes and get them comfortable.
Now, Evans tells me another big concern he has is this turning sign right here on the ground. He says it should be further up there because when people see it right here, they immediately assume that they should turn into his driveway. He said he's had to stop people several times. He's hoping that officials can remove that and just keep the one over there where the official right turn is. For now, reporting in Springdale, Maryland, I'm Yamarie Sase, DC News Now.
Yamarie, thank you. Developing in Fredericksburg, Virginia, a man is dead and an officer is on leave following a deadly shooting this morning. Officers were called to Sunken Road about someone with a knife physically assaulting a man and demanding money from several people. According to police, officers ordered the man to drop the knife. The suspect ignored the orders and instead charged that one of the officers with the knife. That's when we're told the officer shot the suspect. That man later died in the hospital. Virginia State Police are investigating. Tonight, many of us are hoping it's the start of a long run for the U.S. women's national team in the World Cup.
That's right. We are all rooting for the name on the front of the jersey, and that's the red, white, and blue.
But there's a few names on the back that mean a little extra to fans in our region.
Yeah, Max Marcilla joins us live from the bullpen where there's a watch party happening right now. That's a U.S. match against Vietnam. Yeah, Max, a lot of excitement, a lot of people behind you.
A lot of excitement because everyone here wants to see the World Cup come back here for the third straight time. I mean, just take a look at how many people came out. We're still within the first 10 minutes of the first U.S. match, but people are fired up. They are fired up for the team. They are fired up for a few players in particular. First and foremost, Emily Fox, number 23. Why are they fired up for her? Well, that is because she is from this area. She is an Ashburn, Virginia native, a Stonebridge High School alum, spent a year playing at Stonebridge. Now she's in the NWSL and now at this moment representing the country. So a lot of excitement around her, but perhaps not much more than the excitement of the people who have not only watched her in her journey, but are trying to emulate her. We spoke with a 10-year-old Cameron Hughes who lives in Ashburn and is going through the same types of career development that she hopes one day will lead her to national. Here's what she and her parents said about the representation and what this moment means to them.
My coach coached her too, and I'm going to be going to her school that she went to in a few years. I play that same position, and I can't wait to see her play my position.
When you see a lot of these players, you know, on TV and whatnot, and you hear about where they're from, you know, you hear it, but obviously it hits home a little bit more when they're from home.
It just feels kind of surreal, like she's kind of following in her footsteps in a way. And that just makes us more proud of Emily and what she's done and how much time and effort she's put in to get to where she is.
All right, so about another decade, more than a decade from now, we'll be seeing Cameron on the big screens here. But she's not the only one, Emily Fox, that is. Andy Sullivan's a midfielder from Lorton, Virginia. She is an alma mater of South County High School, and she is actually not only a local product, but a local talent because she plays on the Washington Spirit out here back live. This is the Washington Spirit watch party at the bullpen. So you got fans who have watched these girls turn into stars on the national level, and they are watching them even when they're not starring on the biggest stage. We're going to keep an eye on them and an eye on the U.S. as they look to start the World Cup with a dub. Reporting live from D.C., Max Marcilla, DC News Now.
Awesome, Max. Thank you. And this year's Women's World Cup tournament is happening in Australia and New Zealand. So we can expect some odd kickoff times. Now, fortunately, the D.C. Council is allowing more than 90 bars and restaurants to stay open for 24 hours a day during the World Cup. You can't miss it. Make sure you get the full list on our website, dcnewsnow.com.